But then often there needs to be a spark in there, right? That's the realization. Some element. It's like over here you can just have dry grass, but if there's no spark, it's just dry grass, right? So the inquiry part is, what's true? Is this true? Who am I? What am I really? Is this thought real? What happens when this thought is believed? What's experienced? What's the impact? Right? Because that's all that's happening. You have a thought, you believe it, you're living it out, you're manifesting the thought, right? The thought isn't true, but you can believe it and manifest it. It's a bit, how can I say? See, real inquiry, again, and this is, I emphasize this, I know, like a jackhammer saying the same thing, but it's so important. Inquiry must not be used with the intention of getting rid of something. Otherwise, it's being used by the ego to get rid of things it doesn't want. There's a deeper intention, which is the love of truth, of what is. The love of it. What's really real? That's a beautiful thing, what's real. That's such a different approach than, how can I get rid of this thought? How can I get rid of this belief? Here, do this, then you can get rid of it, you'll feel better. You can feel the ego in it, can't you? Yeah. I'm just doing this so I can feel better. Everybody wants to feel better. That's fine. But there's something deeper in this, isn't there? There's that love of what's really real. Just to do it to feel better will leave us all continually still trapped in the confines of the ego. The beauty of truth is something different. And see, there's no manipulation in the investigation of truth. There's just what's real. Because unreality, it's not the enemy. Illusion isn't an enemy. There is no enemy. We're not even asking what's real to get rid of what's unreal. It's to actually find out what is real. Not with the intention to get rid of something. That corrupts the whole process. Do you see? Because there's something before that, isn't there?
Yes.
That's much more innocent. That has really no agenda other than the love of what's really real and true. So maybe, do you see how they actually... Yes, there are different approaches. One is, in a sense, very passive. Very, very passive. Because we're taught to be so aggressive. Do this, do this, do this, do this. Here's this technique. Do the technique. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. Whatever it is. And it's just sort of this frenetic thing. So, what happens when we stop doing that? Because clearly that doesn't work. Clearly. What happens? And then what arises? How do we meet what arises? How does it met? Because from what I saw, nobody taught me this. I was in the Zen tradition. They don't talk like this. They don't, this isn't what happens. I'm just sitting there all by myself and being really quiet, and all of a sudden, what's going on? What's actually happening? What happens when I allow everything to be? And then some illusory thought appears, and I notice consciousness, it lets it arise and pass, but then if it arises enough times, it gets curious all by itself. It's not an ego thing, and I notice consciousness is going, ooh, what is that? That's interesting. That belief, such and such shouldn't have happened. Ooh, how does that feel? Rather nasty, actually. But I really believe it, right? Everybody else believes that things shouldn't happen, right? That people shouldn't do certain things. But then I started to notice, wait a minute, but we do things. Who's going to win? My thought of what should have been, or reality? You see what I mean? Reality's already won because it's already happened. My thought about what should have happened is going to lose because it didn't happen. You see what I mean? And then it will continue to lose. And so there I would just be sitting, in quiet when I stopped trying to meditate right. You know what I mean? Because as long as I was trying to do it right, this natural intelligence couldn't arise. Because I had a better idea in mind, what I'm supposed to be doing. And I started to let go, and there is this intelligence within us that arises when we're not manipulating our experience. It's a natural intelligence. It's not just an intelligence of the brain. Our whole being actually possesses intelligence. This idea that intelligence is just a brain function is a total illusion. That's a relatively small amount of our intelligence. But the intelligence in our being is immense. And it just arises, you see. And so all this started to arise because I noticed consciousness eventually moves to any point of fixation. It doesn't move there to get rid of it. It moves there like, what is this? Interesting. Of course, the ego had moved in there. What is this? I must get rid of this. How do I get rid of this? How do I stop this from happening? But I said, that's ego. That's just mind. That's conditioning. That was learned. But this other thing was innocent. What is this? Is this true? See, then there's the coming together, right? Who do I become when I believe this thought? Any thought, even good thoughts. We're not just talking about negative thoughts, you see. That's why I said this is about truth. This isn't about removing negativity. This is sometimes removing thoughts that make you feel really, really, really good. So this is about truth. It's not just removing what's uncomfortable. Sometimes it's removing false comforts. You know? Because there's thoughts we tell ourselves that actually make ourselves feel quite good for a while. They're still illusions and they have a price, but I started to see, not even the good ones are true. But those are ingrained in us, right? Even positive ones. I'm in love with you, baby. I need you so much. And when you first feel it, it feels good, right? I love you and I need you and I want you and and then you listen to the music and I couldn't live without you and you made me do it, all that kind of stuff. And at a certain point, for a while, it feels very positive, doesn't it? Not later, but initially. Oh, yes. You will be the solution to all of my problems. I found my soulmate. God, I wish I had $1 for it every time someone asked me about their soulmate. Guess what? You can be happy without your soulmate. Which means if you can be happy without your soulmate, you're guaranteed to be happy if they ever come along. You say, but then it doesn't matter. But there's these thoughts, right, that are very positive, aren't they, right? They're in our movies, right? Our little love stories, the little romantic comedies, right? Two people that absolutely have no business being together whatsoever. Do you know what I mean? Two totally dysfunctional, absolutely deluded morons, right? Falling in love, fighting, breaking up, getting back together, misunderstanding each other, right? And at the end of the movie, right? And that's it, right? They never show 10 years later, do they? No. Because all those good thoughts, I need you, you are the answer to all those thoughts will start to collapse, right? Because they felt good, but later, they won't feel good at all. And so then they collapse. So even some thoughts that are good, what's really true, You get the feeling?
Yes.
It's not as opposing as it may seem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can feel that.
All right.
Thank you, Ajahn.
Thanks for your indulging me. I appreciate it.